Morris was a little late to breakfast, but that's because he was here at 6 and I didn't feed him until 8:30 and he had wandered a little while waiting. Hi, bud. Hi. It's humid. It's hot. The clouds are disappearing. Looks like it's going to be sunny, at least here in the morning. Everybody's doing good. Gray's going for breakfast too on the front porch now. She's cute. Hey, Mittens. So Mittens and Midnight, they both take turns laying here on top of the Lego bins. And you'll notice the really pretty quilt that was sent to us by a viewer from Scotland. They really enjoy laying on it, and it gets good visibility up here and all of that. Hi, bud. We're going to go for a walk now. You be a good boy. They were picking on poor Mittens a little bit this morning. Hopefully they won't pick on her while we're gone. Hi, Mittens. You're so cute. Hi. My goodness, Tux, that's not your normal spot. Hey, bud. Tux. Tuxie. Hey, bud. You was really asleep, too. We'll be back. We haven't talked about where we're headed yet. It is Sunday. So it is the 1st of the month. Happy August, everybody. Don has been around this morning and read his meters, including the one in the garage. Ruby was down to 86 miles, and that's because the other night when the grid was kind of struggling, I chose not to plug her in. It wasn't that I forgot to plug her in. And I also knew we'd be driving Jules, and/or I wasn't going to be going out of Fuquay, so we were good. But anyway, she's plugged in and charging now because, of course, it's Sunday and we have off-peak, you know, 7-8 cent, depending on how you count tax, per kilowatt hour right now. And the grid's not struggling right now. It's not super hot. It's not late afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and get her charged up, even though I don't think at this moment that I'm going anywhere too far tomorrow. She's charging. So Jules still has a pretty high charge because of the supercharger stop yesterday. Yeah, she was charged up pretty high there. So she's at a little over 200 right now. And we're in Jules this morning. Good morning. Don was doing some detective work this morning where we parked here. Just parked, yeah. Yeah, he said this is, he thinks this was a Tesla parked here and they had climate on because no ICE car was going to generate that much AC drip runoff. Could be left running long enough to do that or whatever. And we've seen Teslas in this parking lot in the morning, so it's not a stretch.
Yeah, and it have to be today because this can't, overnight would have evaporated.
Yeah, and we didn't have any rain here last night either. It doesn't look like pickup truck bed spill also. Yeah, I didn't say, but you guys that watch frequently may have figured out. We're over here on the Fuquay Greenway Trail headed towards the Willow Spring High School. This gets us about 2.6 miles, something like that, when we do the walk over to the lift station and back. It's one of our weekend walks because it takes, you know, an extra 10 minutes each way to get over here and back to the house. And it's mostly in the shade, although we do have that one sunny stretch. We're later this morning. It's going on 10. It's humid. It's hot. We're doing that. We're out here because we're supposed to be, right, Donnie?
That's right.
Got to get in our exercise so we can pile up this afternoon and
exactly right.
Enjoy our Sunday without any guilt, I guess. We're late enough this morning that some of the trail that's normally in the shade hasn't been in the shade. We've passed a couple with a stroller and a dog, a girl who ran by us pretty quick, an older gentleman on a bike, and a few other people out here too. So it is a weekend crowd, I would say, but not crowded. You can hear all the insect noise in the background, maybe. As long as they're not biting, I don't mind listening to them. I always want to come around the corner here and see some interesting bird. I'll let him get in front for a minute. I know you guys probably think I'm always coming up from behind. That's just because I stopped to take pictures. It's funny, my whole life, when I walk with other people, I'm pretty much always out in the front. And it's bothered everyone but Don. Don says it doesn't bother him.
I want you to find that lion up there.
He says he never minds walking behind girls, and we'll just leave it there. So I had a thought that I wanted to share about Supercharger Network. We watched the Now You Know in-depth on Elon opening up the network, and you know, I thought they thought about a lot of things in their discussion, the potential side effects, considerations, and it was good. It was worth watching. I've never watched their stuff and not thought it was worthwhile. We've been watching a little more again lately. But what I wanted to say was there was a Facebook post this week where a Tesla owner was complaining about another Tesla owner pulling in sideways at a supercharger because they had a boat on the back. They were towing a boat. And he was able to charge, but he thought the other driver was rude. Well, mostly in the comments, he got told he was rude and that if he'd ever towed anything, he would have never unhooked either. I fall on the side of people of, as long as he was there and willing to move if necessary, I'm good with the fact that he just blocked some chargers while he was there with the car. And I assumed that was what was going on. Anyway, yeah, that person that made the post, he wasn't very popular, going after a fellow Tesla owner for seemingly no reason. But what I wanted to say is that in Siler City, you know, we have these new prefabs where it's 4 pedestals on a piece of cement that they just drop in place, and they go along with the traditional back-end style that we're mostly used to. And you know, there's no way to charge at the new Siler City supercharger if you're towing without blocking some of the supercharger pedestals either. There really wouldn't be, the way they have it built over there. Well, for a while I just mulled on the prefabs are going to make it even harder to put in pull-throughs, or harder to put in ones that are conducive to people towing or whatever. And of course this came up because of, you know, the superchargers are designed so Teslas can back into the chargers in most cases. We don't have a lot of pull-throughs, we have a few, but these other cars don't have their charging ports in the exact same places the Teslas do. And would that even mean more people wouldn't be parking correctly at the superchargers, etc., to try to get their car plugged in? How is that going to work? But why don't we though, and I'm sorry, I was going to say, why don't we have a prefab that is 2 pull-throughs or 4 pull-throughs, also designed an alternate prefab that they could drop in? Because in Siler City and in many supercharger locations, land lease is not a big deal. It can be a super big deal. You know, Sheetz parking lots aren't notorious for having a lot of extra room where they put the chargers in sometimes. But that one in Siler City, there's a whole, you know, side of the shopping center grass field over there essentially. So why not put in 2 4 prefabs that are back in, and then put in a 4 or a 2 prefab that is a pull-through? Because there was, they could have put more asphalt into the grass, is what I'm trying to say. They could have easily put another 2 or a 4 down on the end that were the pull-through, pull-in variety, and solve this problem. So, you know, you don't know if Tesla's already thinking about that or not. They might be. But I think they can fix it, because the current prefab is just going to exacerbate the problem of you can't pull through, you can't pull in.
Yeah, so Jesse and Zach and Jesse, they pointed out, and they weren't picking on e-tron, they just were using the e-tron for an example. It's on the side, and there's like no way, because the Tesla cords are very, very short. They're the exact length they need to reach that rear charging port on a Tesla, that you cannot, the only way you're going to do an e-tron at the current one, especially unless some kind of adapter with a cord on it, is that you're going to have to pull sideways. You're going to have to come in, and you will have to block a couple stalls just to charge your e-tron. And that's one of the things that, you know, hadn't necessarily thought about, that even if you put the like in Europe, they've got the CCS cord. They're supercharged, and some of them in Europe have dual 2 cords on them. They got the CCS plug, and they got the same Tesla plug they've always had. And but those cords are still very short, so I'm thinking Tesla's going to have to change to the pull-through model, like all the new superchargers they're going to be putting in here. They're going to have to switch to pull-through, because also you can't charge the semi. Not that the semi is going to charge the superchargers, but
well, even the Cybertruck being such a large vehicle,
yeah, and
will be sticking out. Like, try to back the Cybertruck in at North Hills in that Target shopping center in Raleigh, and it'll be sticking out. It's already hard to back in over there. Yeah, that's a really tricky place. That's right. So anyway, I really think we're going to be, you know, they kind of said it. They never said it this blatantly, but I think Elon did this and he didn't think it out. You know, he didn't think about the practical side of it. You know, Elon's goal is to promote sustainable energy, in transportation specifically, but I don't think he thought that through, because the supercharger network is a great thing, but of course it would get him a lot of political stuff. You know, a lot of times the government and people, they announce things just to get the little check mark. Oh, we have an open supercharger thing. The fact that you can't use it because the cords are too short, the charging ports are all on the wrong side, which has been a known problem that we've talked about on the channel, because I went to a meeting in Greensboro with Electrify America and Charge Point. Yeah, Johnny went with you that day. You saw your first Honda Clarity. Yeah, and we went there, and the person said that the biggest problem, the question was, what are you doing about CHAdeMO versus CCS? And the person said, that's no problem at all. We don't even think about that. What we have to struggle with, what we spend all our time worrying about, is where the charge port is, and how long, and how do we handle that? Because one of the advantages Zach and Jesse pointed out is the supercharger cord isn't very long on purpose. Right, resistance across but it's more of a safety thing. It doesn't lay on the ground. Right. It's just the length where it basically can touch the ground, but that's all it's going to do. You're not going to trip over or run over it in the car. Well, if you have a cord long enough to reach halfway down the e-tron, then that means that cord's going to be long enough to get run over. And then, of course, that drives up the maintenance cost, because, you know, the part they're going to run over the cord is going to break that connector, right? I mean, that's what's going to happen. And people, you know, they get lazy and they try to they just unplug it from the car and just, well, it didn't automatically retract in like the air hose does, and it just spashed on the ground and the plastic part jumped off of it. You know, this is what's going to happen. So I think Elon, his heart was in the right spot. His motivations were pure. But from a practical thing, I think it's going to be a while before there's any real benefit. There's just going to be a lot of frustration and negativity on this, on both sides, both the e-tron people, or excuse me, I'm not picking any other EV, yeah, any other EV. Yeah. Well, I think we should, us Tesla people that have concerns, should politely express them and be patient, and just watch what happens, because we really still, even with all the speculation, we still really don't know exactly what's going to unfold. And I don't think it cannot be that all of a sudden next month we turn it on to all other EVs out there and things just work smooth. I think we all see there's no way that's going to happen. It's going to take some design changes, car changes, you know, hardware and software for the other. I mean, it's not going to be a floodgate opens. It's going to be okay, this company has signed on to be added on. We're going to get them sorted out. This other company signed on to get on. At least that's my opinion. And
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot.
don't think it'll be a floodgate, so I don't think we have to get too upset here too quick, and we'll just see, you know, pass on feedback and feelings for sure, but let's give it a chance to see how it's going to unfold a little bit. And you know, Electrify America, I'm not going to say I have a lot of experience with it, I don't, but I've watched Kyle and other videos out there, and you know, their concept of how they have their pedestal and their cords is, you know, works pretty good. And we've seen a couple others, like Shell over in the UK or whatever, other people that have the retractable or it slides around from. We've seen some other designs that might be good. I don't, you know in practice if they're good or not, but I'm sure if Tesla needs to innovate on the pedestal design to accommodate other cars, they will. And then, you know, of course, it's going to be some sort of a slow rollout too. It will be one thing to add them to new locations. It'll be another thing to go back and modify existing installations. So, and my comment about a prefab pull-through was more aimed at helping Tesla owners that tow. I wasn't thinking so much about other cars, but it also works twofold there. If we had an alternate design prefab that was a pull-through. Because I just think in a lot of these places there's extra grass on the other side, and there's no reason the parking space can't be twice as long as it is now.
Yeah, well, the pull-through is going to, long term, is what the answer is going to be.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's going to be.
Well, I hope the answer long term is I'm just going to pull up and some automated process is going to plug my car and unplug my car. I hope long term, like in 10 years, that's happening. But for now, yeah. The next iteration will be pull through and still us getting out and going back in and doing the plugging and unplugging ourselves. Or, you know, just drive over the top of it and it seamlessly beam the energy into the car. I like that option too. That would negate the need for any cables or plugging or other stuff. Less maintenance nightmare too, because we do see pedestals that get accidentally backed into and such. So we just went through the turnaround point. It's hot out here today. No optional immediate shower at the house. This will be one of those days where we're going to want cold water, or a jump in the swimming pool would be nice. It would work for me too. The sumac is starting to bloom along the trail. Father and son up here talking football. Just taking a minute to look at the wildflowers along the trail. This purple flower is called Meadow Beauty or Beauty Meadow. I've seen it other summers and it's really pretty, and I'm just taking a second to enjoy it here. I had Don pace back and forth a couple times while I enjoyed the flowers. Get him a few extra steps.
Yeah, so I'm going to go home and pile up. I'm not going to have to do anything.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Usually when we do this walk, I've got enough steps I don't have to work it too hard. But, you know, yesterday, 21 minutes on the desk cycle to make sure I had enough, and then I still didn't have enough, and then I'm out there mowing the lawn, which should have got me 3,000 steps and been plenty, and my watch died in the middle of mowing, so I had to send.
Knows if your watch ain't counting your steps, they don't count.
Right. I called Don over. He was using the unicycle to go around the front yard and water plants, which I thought was pretty cute, and he was out there being supportive and stuff. But I had him. Good morning. I had him go plug it in the house for me and then bring it back out. And I did get over 11,000 steps. So, you know, we know it counts now. It's official. I know we're silly, but my rings were messed up for last week because I didn't wear my watch at the water park. And I'm not going to let that happen this week. Probably would have been okay to wear it at the water park. I just really, really like my watch and want to take good care of it. We've either got a black racer or a rat snake here. I dropped my camera case, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know the difference between them.
Well, I do, but you got to be able to see under his head. I think it's a rat snake. If he's got cream under his head, which he does, that is a rat snake. He is totally non-venomous, will not mess with, you know, he's good.
Yeah, if you stretched him out, he would be 4 feet.
Yeah, he's a good-sized dude.
Yeah, if you stretched him out.
This is the most common snake people run into in North Carolina, in my opinion. My experience on my properties, the whole, you know, 30, 40 years I've been living here. Well, I paid more attention after I had the house in Willow Spring at 93, so it's going on 30. You would have thought with the heat that the parking lot would be empty, but actually a bunch more people have come while we were on our walk. I really appreciate these guys over here following the every other space concept in a parking lot that has the room to accommodate it. Great job parking. 7,000 steps, and I said 2.8 miles. Don's got 2.95 miles. He should have walked that other 500ths of a mile to say 3.
No,
What was our pace this morning? Does it tell us here?
That's journal.
That's down at the, okay.
Hang on. Thank you.
He's hitting it for me.
There.
Don really likes docking his phone. Activity up at the top. Oh well. Wow, I thought we were pretty fast today, but it says 21:15. I'm really surprised that we were that slow. It didn't feel like we were that slow. It's the heat. The heat just slowed us down a bit.
Yeah, there's actually very little, if no breeze.
Yeah.
It's just really hot.
Johnny and I are sitting out here on the end of the boardwalk watching Morris and Marty. Morris wants attention, but he's easily spooked. He's just kind of skittish. But he doesn't go far. And he does let Johnny rub his belly. Even though Marty's bossy and doesn't respect personal space, Morris still tolerates him quite well.
Ooh. That girl, she's the queen of bacon. The bacon queen. Yeah, baby.
It's very important to Dawn. I'm going to make wings tonight, and I use the bacon fat to fry the wings in before I finish them off by baking them. So, and Sunday's usually bacon day when we can use the electricity in the middle of the day. And you know,
all that.
Look at that bacon.
Hey, baby. You won't be looking at it long because it's going to be gone.
Yeah, I'm going to fix Dawn breakfast today. He can do OMAD the other 6 days this week. Today he's going to do just a typical IF.
Yeah, intermittent pack.
So 4 packs of the Whole Foods bacon is basically 4 cookie sheets approximately. And this is what we're going to end up with after we've all ate on it some. But what I wanted to show you was the stainless steel bacon fat holder. And how much that's all from the bacon. Now some people like to strain it. I'm a no strain girl, I don't care. And the consensus is on all of the keto, low carb, carnivore websites is you don't need to refrigerate it. It is, however, and Dawn cut the hole in this for me because it didn't come with the spoon hole. You should keep the dust out of it. So covering it's good. Of course, you could use glass, but then it's got to be tempered glass. You know, I was explaining to Johnny, you can't take an old pickle jar and pour very hot grease into it. It'll crack it. So I like the stainless steel. And this one that I ordered off Amazon works great, especially after Dawn modified it for me to hold the spoon. But yeah, keeping the dust out is good. Refrigeration not necessary. And there is no possible way it could spoil before I would use it. But I would use it out of here even up to 30, 45 days, no problem. Oh, yum. Sriracha butter in the front and teriyaki butter in the back.